Join Walking Baseball Encyclopedia Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call him Sully every day on Locked On MLB for a unique look at the majors, both present and past, featuring exciting guest interviews and routine check-ins from the Locked On MLB Network's team of local experts. Subscribe to Locked On today on the Odyssey app or wherever you get podcasts.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This is Stacey Gotsoulias, the host of Locked On Yankees. Welcome. It is Monday, September 6th. Happy Labor Day. Is it a happy Labor Day? Not for Yankee fans. Not for people who are sitting through these games and watching the Yankees just play horribly. We have a bunch of games to recap. We have the weekend to talk about against Baltimore because it was a day game today against the Toronto Blue Jays. Not that the Yankees showed up for it, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the series against the Orioles that went the way the Yankees didn't need it to go. I talked about it on Friday. I said anything less than a sweep would be bad. And the Yankees were lucky they weren't swept themselves. We'll get into that. We'll get into the recap of today's game and more. But first, you can get this Locked On podcast and every other Locked On podcast on every podcasting platform available, including Apple, Google, Odyssey, Spotify, Stitcher, everything. You can even tell your smart device to play podcast Locked On Yankees. You can subscribe on YouTube. If you're watching me, hi. If you're not and you're just listening, hello to you as well. This is going to be a rough one, people. I'm warning you right now. This is not going to be a fun episode. It might be a fun episode for people who don't like the Yankees and like watching me get angry. This will be a good show for you. But for Yankee fans, no, it's not going to be fun. But what has been fun the past 2 weeks? Almost 2 weeks? After winning 13 in a row, the Yankees are 2-7 in their last 9. That is atrocious. That is beyond atrocious, actually. That's just really terrible. And aside from the Garrett Cole game against the Angels, that other win that the Yankees had was the walk-off on Friday against the Orioles, and they barely beat the Orioles. Again, could have been a sweep. It wasn't, but it could have been. It would have been a total disaster for the Yankees. Good Lord. Luckily for them, some of the teams who are behind them, well, specifically the Red Sox, the last time I checked, the Red Sox were down 11-9 to the Rays in Fenway because those teams will be beating up on each other this week, which might help the Yankees out, at least in the wild card race. Forget the division. That's not happening. I know I was talking about it being a possibility, but not with the way they've been playing lately. No matter how hard the Rays schedule is, if the Yankees can't beat teams like the Orioles, they're not going to win the division. And that's the big difference. The Rays beat the Orioles 18 times this season. The Yankees are now 9-7 against the Orioles. They have 3 more games against them. Next week? That's next week. Yeah. They play Minnesota in a makeup game, and then they play 3 against the Orioles. I think it's 3 against the Orioles, 3 against Cleveland, 3 against Texas. That's the 9-game stretch that I last week said the Yankees need to win at least 7 out of 9. But with the way they've played the last few days, 7 out of 9 is a pipe dream. So let me just double check that score and see how. Let's see. Oh, the Red Sox cut it to 1, but the Rays won 11-10. So in the wild card standings right now, the Yankees are still half a game above the Red Sox. 2.5 up on Seattle. Yeah. So everything is getting close. The A's are now behind the Blue Jays because the Blue Jays beat up on the Yankees today. We'll get into that, as I said. So the A's are free falling. The Yankees are slightly free falling, but still ahead for the moment. But as I said, just rough. Absolutely horrible showing by the Yankees. Wow. I can't even get over it. And not only that, they're 20-31 in day games this season. What is it about day games that makes them not want to play? And the thing about today's game was Tyone pitched fine. Sure, he gave up 2 runs in the first inning, but it wasn't entirely his fault. And the Yankees only found themselves down 3-0 heading into the latter innings, and Aaron Boone inexplicably put human white flag Brooks Kriske into the game. He basically punted the game when they still kind of sort of had a chance. I know the offense wasn't doing much. The top of the order wasn't doing much, but you want to give your team a chance to maybe get back into it. And that was as bad as bringing in Andrew Heaney into yesterday's game, which we'll get into that in the next segment. We'll go through the Orioles games in the next segment. We'll talk about the Blue Jays right now because that's fresh in our minds. It just ended a couple of hours ago. At least it wasn't as long as yesterday's game against the Orioles. That was a 4-hour slog. Whew, awful. Just awful. Awful, embarrassing, every other word. I had someone leave a comment on my Instagram page saying that my shtick about saying that the Yankees need to sweep series is getting old, but I'm right, because they can't be doing what they're doing now if you want them to stay in the playoff run. But then again, if they can't beat teams like the Orioles in the regular season, they're going to be knocked out of the playoffs in one game. And that wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be good for anyone. At least they have Garrett Cole going tomorrow, so that might stop the slide. If it doesn't, then I don't even know what to say. I really don't. But bringing in Brooks Kriske was definitely a white flag moment for Aaron Boone. And he has had some questionable decisions. He's made questionable decisions, lineups that he's made, even today. He didn't want to play Luke Voit because he wanted to not put Stanton in the field 2 days in a row. Does this man realize that Stanton plays better when he's in the field? He hits better when he's in the field. Why would you do that? In the next segment, we'll talk about that too, because it feels as if Aaron Boone is managing in order to get fired. I don't know. I don't think I'm the only one who thinks this way either, but we'll get into that. Anyway, does this sound familiar? You've got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows, you're watching sports highlights on your phone, and you've got your neighbor's best friend's login for the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all that entertainment you love without the hassle, and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called Directv Stream. It brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part? There's no annual contract. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with Directv Stream. You can learn more at directv.com. That's directv.com. See, I say this all the time. Compatible device required, and content varies by package. Do you know that 85% of people who play daily fantasy sports lose? Is it really that surprising, though? The game is rigged against you. You're playing against thousands of other lineups, not to mention experts who have more tools and more time, so you don't stand a chance. Introducing Stat Hero, the first ever daily fantasy sports book that puts the player in control and winning within reach. Here's how it works. Stat Hero shows you their lineups and dares you to beat them. So it's you versus the house in a head-to-head fantasy matchup. You name your stakes, winner take all. You have the advantage. Stat Hero is showing you their lineups ahead of time. No one else does that. You are in total control. Stat Hero is DFS the way it was meant to be, one-on-one. Play Stat Hero now and change the odds. Go to stathero.com/lockedon, sign up for free, and right now you can get 3 times back on your first play. They're giving you a 300% match. That's unheard of. Go to stathero.com/lockedon. Again, stathero.com/lockedon. That is pretty amazing, actually, when you think about it. I'll tell you right now, I don't do any of that stuff because I feel like there are some instances where I get things right, and it's kind of cool when I do. And then there are other instances when I'm really wrong. And if there's stuff involved, important stuff involved. I don't know. I don't feel like doing that kind of stuff. But if you do, you should use Stathero. Anyway, let's talk about the weekend. It's not pleasant at all. Oh, Friday night was okay. We'll give you Friday night. The walk-off was exciting, even though it shouldn't have gotten to that point against the Orioles, or at least that's how we felt on Friday. And then the rest of the weekend happened, and then we realized, all right, we were lucky that the Yankees actually walked off against the Orioles. And not only that, it was Giancarlo Stanton, and he hit a 121.1 mile an hour single in order to do it. Do you realize how hard that is? Obviously, it's Stanton. He's a big guy. He hits the ball hard, but 121.1 miles an hour. I know he hit one. I think he does have a hit that's slightly higher than that. It was an out, and it was a few weeks ago, and I believe it was 122. And I'm pretty sure someone was able to catch it and throw it and make it an out. And I don't know how these guys are able to do that. Infielders in baseball are just amazing to me. I have no hand-eye coordination. My eyes barely work as it is. And to see them react as quickly as they do on plays and get rid of the ball as quickly as they do on plays, but especially when guys like that are hitting the ball. And I say this all the time. I really wish that StatCast was around when Gary Sheffield was on the Yankees, because if you recall, Gary Sheffield fouled off the ball a lot to the left side, and he did it really hard, scarily hard. I never wanted to sit on the lower side of the lower third base side of the stadium ever when Gary Sheffield was. Did I say Sanchez or Sheffield? Gary Sheffield was a Yankee. And speaking of Sanchez, he had a game on Sunday, huh? Yeah. Too bad it wasn't enough to help the Yankees win, but that was not his fault. That was the bullpen's fault. Then again, the Yankees did lose Jonathan Loaisiga. We don't know how long that's going to be. I was advocating for him to be the closer. Guess not. Yeah, losing Britton and Loaisiga is a big deal. I know Britton wasn't doing a lot this season. He wasn't playing well, but the fact that they didn't have him in the beginning of the season because he had to have elbow surgery, and now they lost him again because he has to have another elbow surgery. This season could have looked a lot different with a healthy Zach Britton. A lot different. A lot better. It could have been the kind of bullpen that the White Sox have. Well, especially now that they traded for Kimbrel. Aaron Boone could have switched off Chapman and Britton as closers, especially when Chapman started not being able to close. That's another thing. Saturday's game, Chapman not being able to close, and then coming out after the game and saying that he loves his job, he loves the preparation for the games, he just didn't execute. And no kidding, sir. He pitched an inning, gave up a run, a hit, although he did strike out 3, but that's annoying. You know, the Yankees got back into that game after not scoring for Jordan Montgomery again, although Jordan Montgomery, this is another problem. Yankee starters need to last more than 4 2/3 innings, okay? Montgomery threw 97 pitches in 4 2/3 innings. You can't do that. You can't. You shouldn't even have 67 pitches at that point. 97 pitches? No. The rest of the numbers were fine. 1 run on 6 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. If he had spread that out to 6 2/3, I would have accepted that. This is not acceptable. This is why the bullpen is running on fumes, because these guys can't last. It also happened on Sunday with Kluber. It's unacceptable. And the Yankees offense took a while to kick in. They didn't score a run till the 7th. Then Joey Gallo finally did something and hit a game-tying home run in the bottom of the 8th, gave the Yankees new life, and then Chapman comes in, craps the bed, and the Yankees lose. Let's go to Sunday. This was... Baltimore goes up 1-0. Whatever. It's 1. It's fine. It was the second inning. It wasn't a big deal. Then the Yankees come back. Gary Sanchez hits a grand slam in the bottom of the second, and you're thinking, okay, let's make this game an easy game, lots of runs, win 2 out of 3. That's good. Baltimore scratches away 1 run in the 4th, also fine, 4-2. Who cares? Yankees make it 5-2 in the 5th. Baltimore scores 2 in the 6th. To make it 5-4, then the Yankees score 2 more runs. Gary Sanchez, thank you again, to make it 7-4. And then Aaron Boone brings in the other human white flag, Andrew Heaney, to give up 4 runs in the top of the 7th. What is he doing? No, really, what is he doing? There's another questionable decision. Why would you bring Andrew Heaney into a game that's only a 3-run lead at that point? To make the game Andrew Heaney proof, you have to bring him in when the lead is at least 10. I said that on Twitter, and I didn't really mean it as a joke. So he gives up 4 runs in a third of an inning. That's what I meant. He got 1 out. He did actually get 1 out. My brother even joked about that. He's like, oh, I didn't even realize he got an out. Yes, he got an out. 1 whole out. And then, of course, the Yankees offense couldn't do anything in the bottom of the 7th, 8th, and 9th. They end up losing the game 8-7. They blew 2 3-run leads. 2 3-run leads against the Orioles. And they dropped the series to the Orioles. And I understand the Orioles lit sage at the end of that losing streak, and they've been playing better, but it's the Orioles. They're the worst team in baseball. There's no excuse for this. I'm sorry, there really isn't. It's frustrating that this happened. Frustrating and ridiculous. And again, lots of people to blame. It's hard to blame the bullpen, though, when they're running on fumes, but I blame Aaron Boone for Andrew Heaney in that game on Sunday. There's no excuse for that. I also blame him for bringing in Chapman for a second outing on Saturday. How come the rest of us know that Chapman can't pitch 2 good outings in a row? It's rare if he does it, and it shouldn't be expected at this point, and I don't know why Boone doesn't realize that. I don't think Chapman should have been in the game on Saturday. And that's not Monday morning quarterbacking, or at this point, Monday evening quarterbacking. This is me saying I felt it on Saturday watching that game. There's no excuse. It's ridiculous and frustrating. And they're going to be fighting for their playoff lives. Instead of having a comfortable wild card lead of like 4 games where you can kind of, okay, if we lose, it's fine. Make sure everyone else is doing what they're supposed to be. No, now they have to really start winning every game. And what do? They come out today and lose 8-0. We'll get into that in the next segment. Before that, let's talk about Built Bar, because I love talking about Built Bar, and at least I won't be yelling in an angry way. Did you know that Built Bar has so many delicious flavors that there's something for everyone? And when you talk to a Built Bar fan, they're definitely passionate about their favorites. I love mint brownie. If you don't know the Built Bar flavors, you are missing out, but here they are: coconut, cherry barcia, raspberry, mint brownie, double chocolate, salted caramel, strawberry, orange, cookies and cream, German chocolate. If you haven't tried all those flavors, get a mixed box where you get 2 of each of the 9 flavors. Try them out, figure out what you like, and then just order what you like. They're high in protein, low in calories, low in sugar. They're good for you. They taste good. They're healthy. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15, and you'll get 15% off your order. That mixed box is really good. Have your entire family try it. Figure out what you all like, because not everyone likes the same flavors, even people in the same family. I like certain things. My mom likes certain things. So anyway, use that promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. It's that time of year again. Sorry for banging my microphone. And all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron to start the football season. As always, BetOnline is your number 1 spot for all the pro and college football action this season. Get all the updated odds, props, and contests, including online's biggest $500,000 NFL mega contest and the world's largest $200,000 NFL Survivor contest, now open at BetOnline. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today. You can receive a 100% welcome bonus. Be sure to take advantage of their opening day super promo. That means make a bet on the Thursday, September 9th season opener between the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. And if you lose, your wager will be refunded up to $25. This is for new customers only when signing up and using promo code NFL100. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your sports action. From football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait and take advantage of all the great offers available for the 2021 season. Use our promo code LOCKEDON. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Briefly, let's talk about that college football game last night between Florida State and Notre Dame, because one of my favorite things in the world is watching college kickers, because so many of them are not that great. And Florida State's kicker made a field goal in order to tie the game, and they were down big, and that was pretty exciting. And then overtime, he misses it, and then Notre Dame makes it, and at least their kicker got it. So anyway, yeah, can you believe football's starting? And you know what that means? Yeah, the Yankees don't have a lot of time to turn things around. This isn't, like I said in the previous segment, we're not at the point where we can say, and we being Aaron Boone, who he downplays everything. Where's the sense of urgency? It's September 6th. You're half a game up on Boston right now. Okay. You're blowing your wild card lead because you can't beat teams like the Orioles and the Angels. And Toronto's not a bad team, but you put in Brooks Kriske in a winnable game. I mean, it could have been a winnable game, but with the way the offense was going today, it wasn't. But you know what I mean. 3-0 is definitely doable. 8-0, no. Marcus Semien hit a grand slam. He got the home run coat. If you don't know what that means, the Blue Jays have a coat that they put on the guys when they hit home runs. They had Robbie Ray wear one the other day because they got a really good start, which, by the way, the Yankees are really lucky that they're not seeing Robbie Ray this time, but they were shut down by Ryu today, who pitched 6 innings. Didn't give up any runs. And yeah, it was bad. It was bad all around for the Yankees. Let's go into the numbers for today's game because everything about it was ugly. Yankees only had 5 hits. Toronto only had 7. Wasn't as if they were beating up on the Yankees that much until the Brooks Kriske moment. Yankees had 3 errors. That's another thing. You can't go into September and do stuff like that. Not if you're a playoff contender. Are they a playoff contender or are they pretenders? Right now, it looks like they're pretenders. It looks like that 13-game winning streak was a mirage. And I kept mentioning last week about how the top of the lineup was performing. DJ LeMahieu was the only person in the top 4 that got a hit. Gallo was 0 for 4. Judge was 0 for 4. Stanton was 0 for 3. Rizzo was the only one with a multi-hit game. He had 2 hits. Sanchez was 0 for 3. Gleyber Torres was 0 for 3. Gardner was 1 for 2. Urshela was 1 for 3. Luke Voit and Tyler Wade. Well, let's see. Voit had an at-bat. Wade came in to play center field. Voit was 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Gallo struck out 4 times himself. He needs to move down in the lineup. And I believe Aaron Boone said in the postgame he would think about doing that. No thinking, Aaron. Do it. There's nothing to think about. Just do it. Do it right now. Stanton struck out twice. Gleyber struck out twice. Judge only struck out once. Now, the one thing about Gallo is he struck out 4 times, but only left 1 on base because they were not getting on base. They were not even making it to second base. One person made it to second base. They were 0 for 1 with runners in scoring position. They left 3 on base. They weren't doing anything. Tyone pitched 7 innings, gave up 3 runs. On a normal day, that would be a really good outing. And 7 innings, the Yankees bullpen needed 7 innings. So when you look at it this way, Aaron Boone bringing in Brooks Kriske helps the rest of the bullpen. And maybe he thought because they weren't hitting all game, they weren't going to hit. But why would you punt a game on September 6th? I don't understand. And I don't understand the Yankee fans who were agreeing with the Brooks Kriske move. You don't punt games on September 6th when you're in the middle of a playoff run and you're only half a game up on the closest team to you. What is he doing? I don't understand. I don't understand. Okay, let's go into tomorrow because Garrett Cole has to stop another losing streak. It's not as long as the last one, but, we're getting there. And it's not going to be an easy feat for the Yankees because they're facing Steven Matz. Steven Matz is 10-7 with a 3.80 ERA. Let's see how he's done in his, that's in 123 innings on the nose with 116 strikeouts. He's 2-2 in his last 7 games with a 2.50 ERA. His last game against Baltimore, he hasn't had a decision in his last 3 games. He pitched 5 against Baltimore on the 1st, 6 against Detroit on the 27th, 6 against Detroit on the 22nd. And he gave up 4 earned runs in those 3 starts. So the Yankees might be in trouble. We might be looking at, I don't know. I can't even predict this. Garrett Cole is looking for win number 15 on the season. He's 14-6 with a 2.73 ERA in 155 innings on the nose with 215 strikeouts. He is having himself a hell of a season. And with that iffy part in the middle of the season, he's doing really well. He is 5-2 in his last 7 games with a 2.85 ERA. His last start was that start against the Angels where he pitched 7 innings, gave up 1 run on 4 hits, did not walk anyone, struck out 15. And the only reason he gave up that 1 run is because for some reason he changed his pitching plan in that 1 inning, stopped throwing the 4-seamer, which was what was getting everyone to strike out. And the Angels were able to score a run. Then he settled back in, dialed it up. He also had his family there that day, family and friends, because he's from SoCal. So yeah, could they fly them into Yankee Stadium for tomorrow's game? Maybe. I don't know. We shall see. Anyway, tomorrow's a big game. I mean, there's no way around it. Tomorrow is a big game. The Yankees need to win. There's no way around this. Okay, they need to win. They need to win handily. They need to somehow break out against Steven Matz. None of this nonsense. And I do not want to see Giancarlo Stanton as your DH. I want him in the outfield. I know he made an iffy play the other day, but he also made an excellent play the other day. I think it was yesterday, right? He made one really good play where he dove and caught a ball, and then there was one play where he kind of went woo, woo, and the ball went behind him. So, right, if you're not watching me, I just demonstrated what Stanton did. Sorry. I keep forgetting that some of you are listening to me on here and not watching me. So anyway, that's it for this episode of Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'd like to remind you that you can listen to the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Odyssey, Spotify, Stitcher, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. And when you get into your car, you can tell your smart device to play podcast Locked On Bets. Betting on the Yankees doesn't have to be a guessing game if you listen to the new Locked On Bets podcast hosted by your boy Q and handicapping expert Lee Sterling. Get daily picks, blowout specials, wrong team favorite picks, and Lee Sterling's lock of the day. Follow the Locked On Bets podcast brought to you by betonline.ag wherever you get podcasts. If you could be so kind, please rate the podcast and spread the word about this podcast to your fellow Yankee fans. We would really appreciate it. Also, like and subscribe on YouTube. And that's it. Enjoy your Monday, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.